Oh, with the head. Jason.
We are ahead. Who do we have today?
Oh, we've got a special guest. Everybody knows who this is.
Who is it?
Harkelroad.
Oh, yeah?
Justin Harkelroad, entrepreneur agents, road to triumphant success.
Ooh, let's just get that all up in there.
Why don't we?
Buckle up. It's the Insurance Dudes podcast.
Hold on.
We're going to start over. I'll act surprised.
Yeah, the old fake.
Hey.
Oh, hilarious. It's good.
Oh, boy. That recorder.
How's it going?
It's going. We just got
It's
done
going.
with the pricing model discussion for Triumph, and I think we're dialed in. So I ran down here.
Nice. So how's that going?
Do I look tired? Going. It's good. There's just a lot of necessary things to do. Once the lease was signed, the financial drip happened, and now every single day costs money. So it's been eye-opening and stressful and all of the above.
Dude, that's a big space.
Yeah.
Huge. And I thought, oh, this is huge. I'm gonna try not to cuss in this thing. I can't cuss, right? Don't.
You can cuss.
Okay, cool. If it'll happen, as long as it's okay. It's a big space, and I thought we'll have this big open community space, and people hang out, and we had a child care and a boot camp room and locker rooms and showers, and it's full. And now the next location, I'm like, we need like 10,000. So as we look for the next one, we're gonna look for a little bit bigger because I want a space where people can hang out.
1,000.
Wow.
But rent
You've already planned number 2.
plan 2 and 3.
Wow.
Put in the universe, it's gonna happen. So once I say I gotta do it, I gotta do it.
That's true. I was just thinking about that today. I was listening to something with Tony Robbins, and he was talking to this rad internet marketer, and they were talking about like once somebody like the guy that did the 4-minute mile, like that for centuries, like you go back to the Roman times, they were trying to beat 4 minutes, and they said a human can never do it. Finally, the dude, I forget his name, did the 4-minute mile, and then the next year there were like 20 other people that did it. It's because of the mindset. Like once somebody saw it, they believed it.
Yeah, I mean, this whole space is different for me. Like, I know insurance, so I always thought you can't make money in this world because I'd look at franchise contracts, and obviously they bleed out for fees. But doing our own branding and seeing the possibility gets me excited for the future.
That's awesome. So let's go all the way back. How did you get into insurance?
I walked into a mortgage company, and there was an Allstate agent who's no longer with the company that said, I was 22, I was 21, and he said, there's this thing called a star bonus. Now, I know looking now that he wanted to recruit me to get the money for recruitment, but he was interested in helping me. But nonetheless, there was a $18,000 star bonus that you could get in 6 months after you opened. And at that point, I was making $9-10 an hour at Lincoln Financial Group processing stuff. And I was like, fuck yes. Like, I'm down for 18 grand. 3 months later, I'm in Chicago, like opening up an Allstate agency, scratch. A median one dude, 62-year-old guy, open scratch.
How long ago was that?
2007.
That's awesome, man. What were you doing before?
Delivering pizzas.
All right.
Working at Lincoln Financial. My dad and mom own pizza shops, so they've always owned businesses. So I worked for them. Once I realized I was getting older and I would never work for my dad because we butted heads too hard, I got a job at Lincoln Financial, which was a real job that offered vacation days. And I thought, this is real. And then I got a paycheck. It's not going to work. I make more money delivering pizzas. And then
Did you ever think about opening your own pizza shop?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, that was kind of money. You can make some money.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can get robbed and all kinds of bad stuff, but you can make some money.
Yeah.
Yeah, that inventory changes the situation.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I remember unloading 3 trucks. And yeah, it's just a different game, and that's what I'm learning inside of this space is every business is just process driven inside of that space. And it's not super difficult once you learn the processes. And in Triumph's world, we're paying. What I'm learning is to pay for the info and pay for the knowledge, which a lot of people don't end up doing. But paying for knowledge that someone already has is 10 times more valuable than trying to learn the shit up by yourself and falling over your face over and over again. So we've had consultations in San Diego and Dallas and Philly and with people who have already done successful things. And I'm paying them for their process documents. Like Laura Harris of the world should be selling this shit to people because she comes on and just gives it away, but people will pay for it because they can replicate.
Yep. So you're huge into mentorships, right?
Yeah.
I see around your neck. Is that a warrior?
It is.
We have Garrett coming on in a couple weeks.
I heard. Good luck with that.
It'll be awesome.
Monday. No, next Monday.
Oh, I'm in baby world. It's crazy up here.
He's intense.
Yeah.
You know what? On something that you said back there is really interesting. Is people will create the excuse that, hey, I'm not going to pay for it because if I do this, if I go try to learn it myself, then I'm going to be good at it. Then I can execute. But really, like, it's not about the learning. It's not about that knowledge. It's about the execution, right? That's the most important part.
Yeah. I listened to an interview the other day, and it was the guy who created another fitness studio, which I won't name drop because they're now in competition. But he partly said that, you can have the perfect people, the perfect product, but if you don't, it's not the right timing, you could essentially fall flat on your face. And the most valuable thing is time. So if I can make that go so much faster by getting all the knowledge I need up front, whether it costs me thousands of dollars now, I know that it's going to pay off in the future. And we're writing checks for knowledge. I can promise you that. I think it's going to pay off because now I don't got to spend time doing all the other shit that I would have to do before.
So talk about the lead up to opening the studio.
Yeah.
When did that start?
We were just going to open a studio. The idea was, we're going to spend $200,000 and we're going to do this thing. And I went on a website and found a person who just specializes in opening boutique fitness studios around the world. So she's the only person in the entire world that does this. Had a phone call with her, super knowledgeable. Karina, of course, was on the phone call. She's like, let's sign up. I'm like, this bill's going to be insane. So let's just wait and see what she says. Nonetheless, she ended up being affordable. So she's been guiding us step by step along the way with, from the Q-tip jars that you got to buy to every little thing. You got to make sure that you're dialed in. So she sent me a 176 item document that I'm checking off. I carry with me everywhere. That shows me, hey, I'm in this point. This is medium, high priority. I need to take care of this. So it's all organized. And she's writing our PR document, everything, so we're ready to go. Did I freeze?
Yeah.
You did for a second.
Am I good now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So the lead up is really following along with her.
How much time did that save alone?
Right. I mean, no matter what the cost was. And like she just wrote up, the PR thing was worth what we paid her. Like I wrote up a paragraph and I was like, hey, how's this sound? She's like, fuck no. Let me just redo it. And she sent me a document that, like I was talking about our lights being cool. Her document basically says, the British designer Daryl Vaughan is best known for illuminating the stages of Paul McCartney, Pink Floyd, Sting, Genesis, and Rolling Stones. That's what he's bringing to Fort Wayne. Like, first of all, I didn't know that. And second, I never thought to put that in an article. And it's just people are knowledgeable in spaces that we don't know unless we ask.
Totally. And why do we always want to go reinvent the wheel? No matter what, I don't know if it's a guy thing or like an entrepreneur thing, but like we always veer towards that. Hey, I'm, the shiny new object. Like I'm going to do it like this. It's like, dude, follow the people that are successful. Like
you can tweak it a little bit. You can tweak it your style, but yeah, it makes no sense to just try to figure it out.
Yeah.
In my mind, I don't have time. My kids stress me out enough. I don't want to figure it out.
Lots of kids.
Yeah.
So so you're working with your wife.
Yeah.
How's that going?
It's good.
Good.
Yeah, so we're going to actually try to follow in your guys' footsteps. She wants to do a podcast.
Yes.
So the podcast is called The Incorporated Couple, and the tagline is growing your business and your marriage.
That's awesome.
The Warrior thing has changed our marriage just from taking ownership of it on my side as a man and being open and honest about what I think with her. We're all hide our feelings because we want to be tough and stuff. So making sure I'm attacking this with open honesty and how I feel about that is how we've streamlined this. But also investing in Barbara and the person that is guiding us is also like a little mediator. Who's like, I like this. I'm like, let's fucking ask Barbara and see what she says.
There you go.
And then she picks green inside, so I lose. But nonetheless, it's not an argument. But yeah, she's a beast, dude. My wife is a fitness mogul. She's a fitness mogul, so she got her pro card. And it's really, like I said, if you have the right people in a business, it's people, product, and timing. We have the people. So our third partner is a boxing coach. He owns a gym now. So he's bringing that knowledge in. I'm bringing the business and building side and creator side. And then I have Karina bringing the fitness side.
That's great.
Yeah.
So how many businesses have you owned?
The insurance agency, we have a fitness and nutrition business called Reps. We have now Triumph, and then I had Follow Tool, which sold to a phone company, Lightspeed, and then I sold that all as well.
And you got a lot on your plate. You got two boys, right?
2 boys and a girl.
Two boys and a girl.
The girl's like 17 kids and one. Absolutely.
How old is she?
5.
Ah, that's awesome.
Yeah, sometimes not.
That's crazy. So, how do you juggle it all? Obviously that's where the Warrior thing came in and being able to put enough time into business, family. Why do we always put a ton of time into business and kind of put the family on the back burner because I think us as dudes, we think that that's the right thing to do. Like, hey, if we crush it at work, we're providing for our family. But how did that play out? And
yeah, I think we're fed what you just said. Like society tells us that we're supposed to just produce, which is true. We are supposed to produce. But as I'm sure you'll learn next Monday, but you can have it all by choosing to have it all. And for me, like from a time perspective, I wake up at 4:30 every single day. It just is what it is. I need to create the time and the space to take care of myself, which is my 4:30 time, and go work out and read and meditate and do all that jazz. So then I can go to work, crush it, and be productive during that time period. And then once I get home, shut it off. And I know that's not possible for everybody. Some people, I take that back. They choose to say they need to be on their email at 5:30, 6 o'clock at night. And they don't have to be. They choose to be because that's what they think and that's their story. And it's just bullshit. And you can turn it off and it's not possible. The reason that they need to be on at 5:30, 6 o'clock is because they're not efficient during the day. And we all know that people's efficiencies are awful. They have 8 hours. Imagine what you could do if you were efficient for 8 hours. That's so much time. If you were efficient for the first 2 hours, the rest of the day you'd be like, shit. Like, what do I do? And that's the target. Be as efficient as possible and not catch yourself scrolling on Facebook. Like, we're all guilty of it.
Totally.
Just toting around doing nothing. So once I get home at 5, it's off. I turn it off. My wife and I go for a walk every night for 45 minutes outside.
Nice. So
we work together, so we connect. We call it walk and talk. No phones. And then the kids, they go down at 8:30. It's our time to go to bed. But I need more sleep. But I'm working on getting to bed earlier. I'm like, there's no change in the morning. I got to wake up. So I got to bed faster.
I hear that, man. That's cool.
What kind of strategies have you worked into your schedule to maintain that effectiveness with your time?
Yeah.
So I think that's something, and and not just to finish and add another little second part, we're so reactive, right? And I mean, us agents, like we're in this environment that it's constant things coming at us all day long, right? And how have you given that the Heisman and been able to structure the day?
Replace myself first. So, I mean, that was the biggest eye-opening thing in the world I was always, and I think as agents, we become the sales manager because that's why we want to push and push and push. And we take over the sales team. And then the first replacement really becomes a service manager because most agents suck at service. So we got to get someone to take care of that side of it. And then we're like, okay, cool. Now we can focus on sales. And I didn't want to do that anymore. So I went and got a sales manager. And once that happened, those two become teammates to handle there's no other side of it, to handle the entire office. Inside of our organization for Allstate, we have a life insurance person who just does like all he does all day because we got to take care of all those stupid goals. And then we have to do with service. She takes care of that side. She has a team of 4. And then we have a sales manager who takes care of a team of 5 or 6. And that's just what they do. So I say, look, if you need me, call me. But if you don't call me. And the way I get out of deflecting is I don't show up. So I can work here at my house. I can go to another location that there's no one at, rarely ever, and just be by myself. I'm so much more efficient if I'm not getting interrupted, like you guys know.
Right.
And it's nothing bad. When you're there, they know you're there with valuable information in your brain that can help them. And you want to help them. So you get distracted with your stuff and you help them, and it takes 2 hours to do a 10-minute project for yourself, which is not efficient.
Right. It happened to me yesterday. I'm writing an offer letter for the new office to the manager, and it's just the God of minutes, and it's my fault. Like, I'm not putting up the boundary. I want to be nice to them and give them, they want counsel, but it is much easier when you're at home.
Yeah. They appreciate our attention. And that's what my sales manager is my mother, by the way, which is the best thing.
Awesome. Yeah.
Like, everybody's like, oh my God, you work with your mom. My mom's a beast. I became an entrepreneur because of the stuff I learned from her, and having that spirit in there, let alone she has the same last name. So when someone wants to talk to someone and the same first initial. So like, this is all working out just fine. She also she wants the whole thing to be successful, and there's no screwing around. Like, if you're just not making phone calls, she's going to let you know. And she'll come to me and say, look, I'm ready to hammer down on this process. And of course, she wants my approval to make sure it's clean, but she looks over it and makes sure things are working.
That's great. So here, I have a couple questions for you. You started scratch, you scaled, and now you got it running, and you have your systems, processes, and you can kind of do your own thing. So Craig and I are both opening scratch agencies. What advice would you give somebody that's opening a scratch agency? Because there's a lot of agents doing it right now. And then also, what would you do to scale? Like, what are some good nuggets you could give us?
Ooh,
higher. As you guys all know, it's all about and having that accountability of a minimum production or minimum activity requirement, and then crucifying whoever wants to play with you and see if it's real. Because all it takes is one example for them to go, okay, he's being serious. Because in reality, we talked about efficiency. We have the dumbest goals that we give people because all we want them themselves. Like, I don't want you to be on the phone for 5 hours a day because I want to just go crazy. Am I freezing?
Yeah.
I'm back?
You did for a second.
You're back.
Where did I stop?
Crucify.
The word breaks the internet. So like as you have staff and you say minimum activity and minimum expectations, like what I try to tell them is like, I'm not trying to just make you be on the phone for 5 hours a day because it sounds fun to make you do that. Like, we want them to be successful for themselves. And like, it's so hard because you see people with kids and wives or husbands, like that's what you got to put in front of their brain because they should be showing up to work to produce for them. And then when you see a 40 outbound phone call a day, I have no problem going, you should be embarrassed to go home today and say, I had a good day. And then they get triggered by that. But let's have a conversation about it because that's just the truth. Like, you're too busy playing on your cell phone to actually get to work. So I would say if I started scratch again, I would have a sales manager in place immediately that can be that person who's looking over them all the time and feeding it back to you if there needs to be a real conversation. Like, I don't get involved in the discipline anymore unless there's really a problem that there needs to be a discipline. The interview process I'm not involved in until they think this person might be legit. Let's have a conversation. And I just go in. I heard you guys coffee talk today. I just go in and say, are you sure you want this? Because we're fucking crazy here. Like, this is how crazy it is. And can you deal with this? And try to scare them off one last time.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
You have to throw that at them, right? Like, look, okay, now that I've suckered you into coming in for the interview, right, and you like me a little bit, now I'm going to get real and tell you how much this thing sucks. Yes. Because it is not easy. I mean, I have a brand new guy. He's over there, and he's for the new location, and he's been here 2 days. We did a little systems training, some little stuff, but now he's on the phone. I gave him a 3,000 age leads, and I gave him a little pep talk this morning. I said, go for it. And that was where I'm like, okay, I hope he doesn't fold, because then I got to do this again. And I know I will have to, but he's out there and he's doing it. And it's like, yes, right? Like, it's such a great feeling when they're actually doing it. They start doing that activity.
It's good.
And I know Jason's got a bunch of new ones too. And so it's that delicate moment when they come on and you're like, are they actually going to do what they said?
Right. And we need to start videotaping our interviews. And then when they don't do it, go, look, this is what you said. Like,
that's a great idea.
Like, what happened? What was the disconnect? But yeah.
I have it. I write down on the interview guide. Like, I say, okay, so you're okay with doing 300 and 350, 500 calls, whatever it takes, so that and I'm going to start using what you just said, so that you can be proud when you go home and tell your significant other. Are you going to do that? Yes. Then I write it down, like, slowly and painstakingly in front of them, and it's ultra awkward, but write down what they just said, and then I have them sign it. So I bring that out when they're not doing it, and I go, remember? Hold it up, and they're like,
yeah, right. And then they do it again for a day, then you gotta have the conversation.
Yeah, then you're like, what is happening?
Yeah, you gotta have I had an interview come in the other day. She ended up leaving and crying in the interview because she said, so she was late, first of all, and I said, tell me why I should interview you. I just give her a shot, and she said something nice, so it worked. So I said, all right, let's go. So then she made the comment, I don't know what I'm gonna do. She was like 21. I want to sign up for college. And I said, cool. So I turned my computer around and said, there you go. That's how I'll sign you up for college right now. And she was like, I'm like, well, don't say you want to do shit if you can just do it just that easily. And she was like, starts crying and says, that's what my parents always say. I'm like, what is going on? Are you crying? That's what I said. And she's like, I'm so sorry. She walks out, my staff sees her crying. I'm like, you fucking... I'm like, all I did was try to sign up for college because you say you want to do something. The only block is you.
Yeah,
it's true. It's true. I had a conversation like that earlier. Somebody. Anyways, but it was the same. Yeah, not the crying part yet. But it's the same thing. It's like, it's like all this like excuses. It's like, but all we need. This is what we need. This is the result we need. In any way it can happen, and you keep saying that you're going to get this result, and you don't, and it's because you're just not doing anything. So it's like, it's that simple. Like, yes, and to your point, now with the internet, or the systems that we have in the office, right? Like the programs and everything. I mean, it's like, dude, you can make hundreds of calls in a couple hours if you wanted to.
For now.
Yeah. Well,
should be a Raven later.
With some companies, I guess.
Yeah, this is the insurance dudes, not just one type of
yeah. So I bet hiring for a studio is a lot easier and more fun than hiring for an insurance agency.
We haven't hired anyone yet, but they're essentially coming out of the woodwork to say, I want to work there.
Yeah.
An insurance agency, so that's cool. It's a matter of they think it's going to be some fun process where they get to hang out and enjoy music and lights, but I'm excited. I mean, it's a different hiring process for trainers because it's an audition, so it's not like, let's interview them and decide if we like them enough. So let's interview them and see if we can put them on stage and see if they can entertain. Because if they're not outgoing, we're not going to hire them. And they are the superstars of the studio. So inside of this space, we essentially pick them, see if they're good, and then highlight them to death because they are the reason people show up. And the best trainers fill up the rooms, which it then produces profitable income for us. It's going to be different. And like Karina is trying to get me to be softer because the people in this fitness game are soft as snowflakes. And it's hard to deal with them from a business perspective. Like, I can't give away money at some points because I'm trying to get stuff done and they just take forever. And I'm like, and I'll respond and they'll get triggered and I'll say, I'm just telling you, do what you said you were going to do when you said you're going to do it. That's all I'm asking. And then apparently it's too aggressive. So I got to deal with the front desk people and trainers differently, which I'm going to learn. I'm going to go to therapy.
Well, as entrepreneurs, we're always just, we move quick and we're looking at, okay, we're here and we need to go here. It's a straight line. And a lot of these people are just like, it's this windy, slow.
It's exhausting. Like I went to get, so we're getting our cars wrapped and we're getting all the t-shirts done by this company. And he's like, well, I need this, this, and this. When you have time, I'm like, I got it right here. It's done. It's in your email now. He's like, oh, well, I need to measure the windows. I'm like, I got that shit right here. It's like, here. Now, can we do it? And he's like, well, we got to wait. What are we waiting for? I just paid you. Yeah, it's rough, but.
It's, well, you have this, I mean, you're fortunate that you have the checklist, right? You actually have the checklist. So it's like you're going through next, like just, like a beast going through that checklist. And other people can't believe that you just want to finish that item and be done with it,
I was at Warrior in June and we made a goal. So we do 90-day targets inside of Warrior, and it was to finish this checklist by the time I have to go back in 3 weeks. I'm going to go 4 weeks now. So I'm going to spend a day with Garrett and Sam to just work on Triumph. But I got to have it done because I can't go back and tell them I didn't do it. So, like, that's the benefit of being involved is I don't want to get bitch slapped for not.
Just bring a picture of Garrett with you when you're asking for the thing to be done. And go, what, this guy yelling at me?
Exactly. I just put his face up. Garrett's not the scary one. It's Sam's the scary one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Garrett's nice.
Well, and you should have seen the email I sent to Sam to get Garrett to say yes.
Right.
Oh, boy. Maybe he liked it.
The pit bull and the bulldog.
Wow.
I think that's a good theme of this whole conversation is procrastination, whether it be our staff or us or anything. I think that's the number one thing that, I mean, especially with us, with everything that we want to do or family or you name it, procrastination is just, it's a killer.
I agree.
Why not just
you can, like, if there's a toy in the middle of the room and you step over it, you're just procrastinating and cleaning up the shit. So
yeah.
The elite man picks up the toy and gets it over with because it takes 2 seconds. That's a lot of things with kids. Like they just want something right then and there because that's how they're built. If you just give them the 30 seconds of attention to get it over with, you can move on with your day instead of creating this fight about a 30-second drawing they want to do before bed.
Yeah.
Knock the shit out, and then you can the next thing. And that's given me a lot of relief. I mean, there's a book called Loving What Is that is life-changing, and it explains that what is, and you can just accept it and take it at what it's worth, or you can fight it and try to figure out why it is what it is.
Yeah.
What's it called? Because I know everybody was frantically getting their pens out in their cars right now and trying to.
Loving What Is. It's by Byron Katie.
Okay. Loving What Is. I'm gonna get it.
Who's dope?
Yeah.
I love it, man.
Elderly woman, so it's really hard to listen to on Audible. But
oh no, he got me hooked on Audible.
Yeah,
read it. I don't want to read anymore. I just want to listen to it.
I'm doing 75 Hard. You know what that is? So Andy Frisella, you know what that is?
Yeah.
Okay. He's got a big podcast. So he owns First Form supplements. So he created 75 Hard, which is a no-cheat process for 75 days. So you do a macronutrition diet, whatever you want to do, an accountability picture, a gallon of water, clean, clear every day, 45 minutes outside workout, 45 minutes inside workout, and then read 10 pages a day. So you can't audibly listen for 10 minutes. You have to actually physically read.
Oh,
And now I'm back to reading. Like, it's awesome.
that's good.
I mean, yeah, 10's reasonable, 10 pages.
You end up reading 20, 30 because you're just in the flow. But
Yeah.
Some days you're like, okay, I'm on 93. I need to get to 1 over.
Yeah.
Did not knocked off. But if you screw up, you start over back at the first day. And from a macro perspective, you can't if you think something's a cheat in your mind, in his podcast that you'll hear, he describes M&Ms. Like if you see a pile of M&Ms and you take a bite of them, you start at day 1 again.
Oh,
Which is great though, because I've never been able to get my diet in hand. For one, I don't eat anything healthy, but I always pick at
you're picky.
Yeah, I'm picky. I always pick at the kids' food, and I never tracked that part, and that's what was holding me back. And I'm on day 45 now, and I've never been better.
Well, and you also, since you're that far in, you're like, oh hell no, I'm not going to mess up now, right?
Yeah, I see people say, "Oh, I forgot to take my accountability picture at day 73." I'm like, what? That's the easiest one. Like just wake up and go take a picture. So yeah, all my pictures are at 4:30 in the morning, like dead tired, just get it over with.
And so it'll get you lean, and I mean it's just
it's not a fitness target. It's more a discipline.
okay.
Especially like the water. So like everyone can drink BCAAs and mix their water with shit to make it taste differently, but this is straight clean water gallon, and really it's a habit building because I never drink enough. There you go. I never drank enough water, and now I'll drink probably a gallon and a half just naturally because I'm thirsty as hell, and that's what we need to drink anyway.
Yep. I got into that recently too. I just read a book called Atomic Habits. I forget the author's name, but it was just about building those little habits. So he would even break it down. I think it was under 3 minutes. So like if for somebody that doesn't work out, they want to work out, it's building the habit for 3 minutes. Just get in. If it's going to the studio, going in there, walking around and walking out, but building the habit every day, go in there. And then eventually you're going to want to jump on a treadmill or something because you're going there every day anyways. But it's building those little habits that create the.
Yeah. It's just getting there. And realizing that the marriage and the business and the connection all feeds essentially from the body. If we're overweight and we feel unhealthy and we feel like shit, then it feeds into everything else. And
It's true.
It's cool at the office too, because like the guys now, some want to talk about their own macros, and Karina's prescribing how they should eat. And again, the speech for me is every single time is that we can give you your macros all day, but if you just bullshit yourself and don't do what you're supposed to do, then you're not going to get the results. I got one dude hard with me, and he is fitter than he's ever been.
Really? And that's at the insurance office.
Yep. So my life guy, he goes to boxing with me every couple of days, and he's on his bicycle every night doing his 45 minutes. And it's cool to be outside. Like I'm never outside. You guys are in warm stuff. Like here it's muggy.
I wouldn't call it warm.
Is it hot there? Like
110.
Yeah. It's dry.
It's dry heat. Doesn't bother. You go outside and fire comes off your head.
But yeah, it's nice to be outside and actually be, and it's connecting me and Karina because we go on our walks.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that's good.
I think it'd be fun. It'd be fun to hear your story from when you were at Warrior, because you're a picky eater. You told me this morning, and I think the listeners would really like to hear it about your picky eating and what you had to do.
So I'm not sure how much I can disclose from Warrior Week, but I'll describe the situation. So, I'm a picky eater. I don't eat vegetables. I don't eat fruit. Banana in my shake and spinach in my shake is as far as I go. I don't eat condiments either, so 0 condiments. So the first day we've gone through whatever that was, and we have to eat because we need to be have some nutrients in our body because we're going to go through hell the rest of the night. And we sit down and we each have a sandwich in our hand and a drink in another hand, and we're sitting across from one of our buddies, and we're not allowed to bend our elbows or something will happen. So he had to feed me whatever was in his hand, or we were going to get punished for whatever that was. So I had to eat this tuna, tomato, lettuce, mayonnaise sandwich and not bend my elbow or move to do anything. So I ate the whole thing. And
Wow.
The entire way. So he literally had to feed me and give me drinks. So I would take a bite and I would like try to get a drink, nod to him to not talk, but give me a drink to try to wash it down. And I literally swallowed that fucker whole. Like I took a bite and I wouldn't chew it and I would swallow it with the water.
I don't know that there could be a worse sandwich for somebody that is picky, doesn't want that stuff. Tuna.
I was like, that was like, I don't know. We started at like 6 a.m. So that was like noon. And I knew we had to eat dinner. So the whole time I'm going through everything else I'm going through, just dreading the day that they're bringing out more food because I know it's going to be something like that. And it was like one whole thing was a salad, so with dressing and all the stuff on it. And
that's a lot of vegetables.
Dude,
That is funny.
I just didn't chew it. I just swallowed it. It was really bad. But Warrior Week was life-changing for the better, for everything. So ever since that, you know, I've gone, they make jokes. I went to Warrior Week as an insurance agent, and now I've become a boxing fitness enthusiast who wants to go in this space. So it did change my perspective on things and give me the freedom and the permission to do what I want. Because it's not about just business and making money. It's about enjoying what you're doing. And someone made a comment that said, you know, you can play the right notes all you want all your life, which we could all hit our financial targets and our production goals. But if we don't like the music we're playing, it doesn't matter. And just, you got to make sure you're doing what you want to do.
I like that. And balance, right? Because
This is a lot of fun.
Huh? What did you say?
You said insurance is a lot of fun?
Yeah, I said good thing it's a lot of fun. So we're all very happy.
We're all like, yeah, it's awesome.
We always joke around.
In reality, it's fun. It's a fun environment.
No, it's
Yes.
yeah, and it's a challenge, right? I mean, there's things are constantly moving and changing. So, is it an opportunity or is it something to bitch about, right? And
I had an interview yesterday. Came in. He had job offers, I guess, from other agencies in the city, and you know, he walked in and said this was a whole different world. Like I walked into other spaces and it's old wood, brown and slow, and one guy says hello and that's it. You walk into our space and there's artwork and TVs and statistics everywhere. And he said, you know, this is stand-up desks and this is where I want to be. So we create what we want to create. It's just what we do while we're there.
100%. It doesn't matter what you're selling. Like it could be anything. Yeah, it's what you create, and it sounds like what you're doing for your team is going above and beyond. It's like you're helping them with their health and them growing as people. I've seen, you know, some stuff that you posted on Facebook, and it's like you're pushing them to be like better people, not just a better insurance salesperson.
And selfishly, what that do, that gives us better people that work for us.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like if someone is healthy, they come in happy. And if someone's having a problem at home with their spouse, they're not going to come in happy.
No.
Yeah, you got to like, dude, let's either talk about it, figure it out, see how we can help you, because I don't want to deal with your fucking attitude.
Yeah.
Attitude. So you got both people mad at you right now. So let's figure out what's going on so we can get over it and move on. Because it all feeds for everything.
Yep. Well, what's one nugget that you would give all insurance agents out there? What's one thing that you've learned that's your most prized?
One thing I've learned, that you get to choose your story. And even this is specifically for me inside of the, can I say ALR on here?
Sure.
Financial side.
Say anything you want. You froze.
ALR froze it.
You froze it by saying ALR.
Oh, am I back?
Yep.
You're back. Yes.
All right. Yeah, ALR freezes all of us. For years and years, I struggled for hitting that target because I chose that people didn't want to talk about it, and it was impossible for salespeople to bring up. In 2016, I made the adjustment to control it without having the helper or whatever, the EFS side of that thing inside of my space. And I chose to make it a primary target for us. And then we're leading the state in that insurance policy sold by a ton, because we just chose to make it a focus and chose that people do want to talk about it. We just weren't asking about it. And it's the same thing with what's going on. I mean, we're in a crazy space in the insurance game inside of our companies now. And we got to choose a lane. And when you choose that lane, you got to believe in the lane, whether it's being a part of it still, not being a part of it still, all that stuff. And I think if you play in the middle, those are the people who are going to die. That's just not insurance everywhere.
Yeah. Which you've seen.
Which you've seen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Justifiably so. You play in the gray, you're going to die.
Yeah. It's good advice, man.
Good.
I play in the gray every day up here.
I'm working on it.
It's still
in.
Dude, Craig, how do you not have gray hair?
It's
I know,
lighting.
he dies.
Lighting. Yeah. No, I do not dye it.
Sure, bro.
You would get all over my hands.
I just cut it off.
Yeah, smart.
Yeah.
First off, I look like Mr. Peanut. Like, I did it one time, and my wife's like, hell no. Like, you're never doing that. Felt good, though.
Did you wear a monocle?
I had a mustache and like the I don't know, like the old timey
soul patch.
Yeah, the soul patch with mustache.
Wow.
And a bald head, and I look weird. I'm short, I'm skinny, and I look weird.
I
So
was every 2 days. Like, I can't. It grows so fast, I can't take it. But
that's good though. I like the feel.
saves me money.
Yeah.
One of my tenants is a barbershop too, but I don't want to go sit in this chair and talk for that long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that's the downside of getting your hair done. You have that awkward talk.
So how's your day? Just cut my hair.
Yeah.
Got it. I just want to sleep for 10 minutes. All right.
Well,
Awesome.
thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Fun, you guys. It was
Good
fun.
hanging, and we'll catch up with you down the road.
Sounds good.
We'll throw when you get the podcast up, we'll throw it on our stuff, and well, I mean, anybody that knows us knows you. So
Yeah, we're all the same friends.
But yeah, and send us the link for the gym. Any swag, or is it swag or swag? I mean,
However you want to enunciate.
it's like niche or niche. I mean, we just can't figure it out. So, all right, Justin Harkelroad, thank you, man.
Thanks, guys.
yeah, thank you.
See you later.
Good luck with everything, man.
Thank you. Good luck.
55% of insurance sales producers say that they have had little or no sales training. Us agents focus on marketing to drive activity and often overlook the sales presentation. Improvements in mindset, shifting focus, rapport, needs diagnosis, value building, creating buy-in, and overcoming objections lead to drastically better closing numbers. The solution? Enroll your team in September's Sales Summit offered by Agency Vault. We will even assess your team to see which of their sales steps need the most improvement. Head to agencyvault.com to sign up before it's full.
Hey, thanks for checking out the Insurance Dudes. Hey, please subscribe. We got some really great stuff coming out.